Welcome to another episode of the Yes California CALEXIT show. Today is going to be a deep dive into a key topic that's going to become more relevant very soon. The documentary about CALEXIT is out Wednesday. And so we figured there would be some questions about the strength of the CALEXIT movement now. There's a documentary coming out. It's going to be talking about Yes California, my organization, CALEXIT, that I run here with me and Jason Wright and other people who've been in the movement for years. And we wanted to cover a little bit of the background of the actual current strength of the CALEXIT movement right now and why we think that way. So let's get right into it. But first, check this out. So first, I'm going to cover the facts in kind of a boring, straightforward manner, and then I'll go into the sources so you can actually see the details for yourself. So initially, what we're going to point out here is that Yes California CALEXIT has about 40,000 members on Facebook and about 20,000 members on Twitter. We also have about 90,000 members on email, giving us a reach of around 150,000, close to 200,000, depending on the day. Now, it is true that the Yes California Facebook and Twitter pages have been hacked. They were under our control, but they have been hacked, and now they are not under our control. So if you go to the Yes California Facebook and Twitter page now, for the last couple of weeks, they have been hijacked by someone who is not part of the movement, trashed the movement and said CALEXIT is stupid, trashed California and said that it's stupid, and also said he never wants to return here. But he has hacked the pages and is now intentionally lying and misleading to people in order to make them think that he's the real Yes California when he's not. And the guy who did this is under active federal investigation for being a Russian spy. I am not joking at all. Look at my eyes. I am not joking. The guy who hacked the Facebook and Twitter page is under active federal investigation for being a Russian spy. No joke, not lying or exaggerating. That's how it is. So, but here's the thing. We went through this before. So I had a business split with the previous partner, who's the person who hacked the pages recently. And for a while, I didn't have access to the pages. And then we got access to the Facebook and Twitter pages. And, when we took over, Jason and I took over the Facebook and Twitter pages after they had been run by the hacker, the interaction on the pages was down very low, almost no interaction. But the membership count hadn't really changed. Now, once we took over, Jason and myself, within 3 weeks, we had the interactions almost back up to where they were before, around 2019, 2018. And so what that says is that the person who hacked the pages, nobody's buying their message. They were saying the same kind of racist, xenophobic, transphobic, not really California values messaging before we took the page over. Then we changed messaging back to what it had traditionally been and in line with California values, and interactions on the page went up. So the point is that you have 40,000 people on Facebook and you have 20,000 people on Twitter. They're not leaving, but they aren't interacting with the hacker either. The hacker had been in charge of the pages before. We got access to him. When we took over, we returned the messaging back to normal, and interactions went back up to where they had been years before. So the point is that people may not leave the page, but they don't necessarily buy what anyone's saying on the page. You have to tell by the interactions. And when you go to those pages, you'll see low interactions with the hackers changed post. And then if you can go back to the time that we were there, you can see that the interactions were high. What that proves is that people are interested in CALEXIT on those pages and little else. So they're not going to go anywhere. They already think that that's a good site for CALEXIT, but they aren't necessarily buying garbage talking points. We literally saw that. We literally had the metrics on the Facebook and the Twitter page, and we could see how it was before we took over and when we took over. And it was like night and day. People are committed to the CALEXIT message and California values. And if your social media page does not ring true to that, they aren't buying anything you say, and your interaction is going to go down. So That's still, because of that, we still include those 60,000 people as Yes California members belonging to us and not the hacker and his fake organization, because they don't interact with him, and they did with us. Secondly, we still have the 90,000 people on email. Originally, that was 200,000. So point is, there are about 60,000 people online just waiting for real leadership. And we did this before. We saw the interaction numbers go up when we took over. And that basically proves that no one on the Yes California Facebook or Twitter page is really buying what the hacker's selling. And there are still about 60,000 CALEXIT fans just waiting for real leadership to come back. Now, what has changed? We used to have 200,000 emails, and we lost half. We're about to 90,000 emails. But our Twitter page has only grown, and our Facebook page really only lost a couple thousand and largely maintained. So the Facebook page that we had before is largely maintained. The Twitter page has grown, and we've really only lost about 50% of our email list as far as our total outreach to people. So now we're down around 150,000, whereas before we were in the 250,000 range of total people we could reach out. So I want to point out, although we've lost a lot of enthusiasm, our Facebook page is maintained and our Twitter page has only grown, and our email list was halved, but we've largely kept it together. Now, when we were big in 2018, we had 82 chapters across California. 82 chapters. And yeah, that was when you had about 32% of Californians were buying CALEXIT. And here's the thing. We took a lot of beatings from 2018, 2019, a lot of rumor mill, and we lost a lot of members and a lot of enthusiasm in Yes California. But even though it was a bad time for Yes California and CALEXIT, with all the rumors about being foreign spies and intrigue, etc., which were all disproven, of me and Jason at least, we never stopped believing that the market was still there. So basically, people may have been turned away from Yes California because of what the news was saying about us, but they were never turned away from the idea that California could become a nation. And we were saying in 2018, 2019, look, I know our membership numbers are down. I know we've collapsed a lot of chapters. I know we're not being mentioned in the news, but what we're not seeing is people saying, I don't believe anymore. Like, people would say, I heard something nasty about you in the news and I'm leaving your organization. They would not say, I fundamentally never believe in the idea that California could be a nation anymore. I'm the person that would know best because I was here on the ground during the entire time, and I talked to more people than anybody else who were interested in CALEXIT and opposed to it. No one ever said I stopped believing in the idea. They said, I don't want to be associated with you. And so we said, the market's still there. People still believe, and they never stop believing. And fortunately, we were proven right by a very horrible event. We lost a lot of steam in 2019, but when Roe v. Wade was overturned, our theory was proven masterfully correct. 3 different California newspapers came forward and automatically suggested secession the moment Roe v. Wade was overturned. And many people went on Twitter and started saying, let's get CALEXIT going again. We had said people may have left Yes California because of the rumors that were caused about us that were disproven, but they never stopped believing. And then when Roe v. Wade came, what did we see? 3 different California newspapers said, let's secede. And a bunch of people on Twitter were saying, let's secede. And they came out of nowhere. So these newspapers and these people were not talking about secession, but the moment Roe v. Wade was overturned, they suddenly come forward and start talking about secession. We believe that that means it proves our point. The 32% of Californians willing to secede in 2017 have never left. The market's still there. If that's not true, then how come we were the only people to accurately predict that newspapers would talk about secession and the public would be talking about secession the moment Roe v. Wade was overturned, and nobody else called that? And how come we were totally correct? Why is it that suddenly when Roe v. Wade happens, there's a lot of interest in CALEXIT, and then before that there was a lull in interest going back to 2018, but then it pops right back in at Roe v. Wade unless the market was intact and lying dormant like we had always suggested. So the market is still there. People will come back to CALEXIT anytime anything goes bad. The Republicans are still in charge. They're probably going to win big time in the midterms, and the Supreme Court is not going to stop being a conservative Supreme Court. So there will be other horrible things that happen that Californians react to and push for secession. We believe Roe v. Wade proves our point that the market of 32% of Californians who want secession is still intact. That means a third of California, about 15 million people, are still just waiting for good leadership on this. And we believe that the Yes California membership at the Facebook and the Twitter page is still there and still loyal to us and not the hacker, and will eventually see through all of his lies. So we still estimate the market of people in CALEXIT about 150,000 active listeners, and then about 32% of the total population. And that's how we get to those numbers. So let me do a little bit of referencing so you can see everything. So first, let me show you this. I don't know if that's gonna, boy, it doesn't like that. Okay. I don't even know if that showed. That's bizarre. Let's see if this shows. Nope, doesn't want to do that either. Okay. Wow, it really doesn't like that. Give me 1 second. Okay. We're going to have to do this the hard way, but we'll get through it. Okay, so here is the strength of CALEXIT. As you can see, so 32% were supporting in 2018, according to Stanford and Reuters surveys, 2017 and 2018, and 47.5 said they were willing to think about secession. This is a map of the membership at that time for Yes California. So you can see like 36 members here at the border, 2,000 members in San Diego, about 176 members in Palm Springs, 1,000 members in Long Beach, 7,000 members in Los Angeles, 600 members in Santa Barbara, 106 members in Parlier, 136 members in Bakersfield, 556 members in Lancaster, 173 members in San Bernardino. We already covered 2,000 members in San Diego. You can also look to the left and you can see about 147 members up in the Eureka area, 56 in the Humboldt area, about 800 people in Santa Rosa, 6,431 people in the San Jose Bay Area, about 1,100 people in Sacramento, 300 people in Modesto, 247 in Yuba, 112 in Chico, et cetera, et cetera. So that's roughly the numbers of the membership when CALEXIT support was its largest at 32% support, and 47.5 said they will think about it. Let me show you those statistics now. Here we go. So these are the original surveys. Reuters showed 32% support, and they said 15.5% said I don't know, which equals 47.5% of people in Reuters Ipsos willing to talk about secession. It's 32% support and 47.5 willing to discuss secession. When you break down the numbers, here's the actual original study from Reuters on 1/25/2017. The actual information, and then break down to the charts. Then we can go down here to Stanford. Now, Stanford said 27% were for secession, and 19% said they're not sure, which means 46% are open to the discussion on secession. That's Stanford University. So look at these. 27-19 equals 46% open to discussion on secession, 19% not willing to dismiss it. We go back up here to this. And, well, look at that. 47.5, according to Reuters, says they're willing to talk about it. And then we go here, and it's 46%. So 46% to 47.5, they're 1.5 percentage points off. That's Stanford and Reuters. Now, when we were really big, it was great. Here's where the chapter map came from. It shows you the chapters. This is when we were big. You had all these people wearing Yes California shirts. It was great. We had a table and a tent. We had signatures. People were signing the signatures everywhere across California. They were going to tables listing information. They were doing signatures in Oakland and Santa Monica and Berkeley and Santa Monica again, and in the Bay Area and Los Angeles. And then we would have meetings, and everybody had shirts. And this meeting's in the Bay Area, San Francisco. This one's in Los Angeles. This one's in San Diego. This one's in Oakland. That one's in Sacramento. So, there was a lot of meetings everywhere. It was great. Chapters everywhere, meetings across the Bay Area, Los Angeles and Sacramento. Everybody had shirts. People were signing petitions literally across California. And we would have a lot of support like this. Right. And then let me show you this. Now, this is the current Yes California Twitter page. This is not us. It has been changed by the hacker. And it shows you about 18,000 followers. That's just all I wanted to show you. It was 18,000 followers on the Yes California Twitter page. This page is currently hacked, and our content has been ripped down, and it does not represent California messaging or have anything to do with us, although it's actually our page. Here's the Yes California Facebook page, again, also hacked. I just wanted to show you 37,000 followers basically backing up. Again, same story. A lot of attacks on us. This is by the hacker. This is not us. So if you see this page, that's not us, although it belongs to us. And if you see this page, that's not us, although it belongs to us. We were lied and tricked and cheated and, hacked. So a couple more things. Let me show you if I can. Let's go to share screen. So that was just showing the audience for the emails, about 94,000 contacts currently. That's just to prove that. 1 second here. Yes. Okay. All right. These are the 3 articles that we predicted would happen. California has 2 choices in these dark times: lead or secede. Matthews, California needs to prepare to secede from the nation, the Mercury News. Commentary, will abortion decision revive CalExit? That's exactly what we showed you. Now, let me show you this. These were all of the people who commented after Roe v. Wade. So give me 1 second here. Yeah, so here's all the people who commented after Roe v. Wade. Let's CalExit. You can see the comments in red. Let's get CalExit going again. What about Yes California? So all these people immediately are Californians, and right after Roe v. Wade, they're like, let's CalExit. Let's get the hell out of here. And please bring back the CalExit thing. You can see there in red. Even more comments. So let me zoom out. I think you can see. So there's all the comments at once, and you can see all those red boxes. Those are people specifically who are not associated with Yes California. And when Roe v. Wade happened, said, bring back Yes California, CalExit. And here's the rest of these Californians, at least 50 of them, saying, let's CalExit now. So just wanted to show you that we had the numbers back in the day. It was 32%. Roe v. Wade did happen. 3 different newspapers came back suggesting secession. 50 different people on Twitter were talking about secession. And literally, we at Yes California CALEXIT were the only group to predict that. So we have had our Twitter and Facebook page hacked. Absolutely. But nobody's really buying the messaging. And the interaction on the page is going down. And when we took over, the interaction went back up. So they're waiting for real leadership. And the fact is that America's only going to get worse. Roe v. Wade happened, and you had newspapers immediately call for secession, and Californians immediately call for secession. What you didn't have was people criticize those newspapers and those Californians who were calling for secession. There was no criticism of those Californians who said, oh my God, Roe v. Wade's here, let's secede. Never happened. No criticism at all. So if you look at the fact that midterms may go to Republicans, and if you look at the fact that voting is becoming more disenfranchised across America, ensuring more Republican victories in the future, even as the population moves to the liberal side and a smaller percentage of the population stays conservative, the fact is that the Republicans are destined to have more and more control over the federal government, which means they will still stay in control of the Supreme Court, and they will continue to strike down California laws. So more horrifying decisions like Roe v. Wade will happen. More horrible attempts at removing our clean air regulations, climate change regulations, immigration regulations will be happening in the future. We talked about that a lot. It's called TOMP, tyranny in the minority. So all of the conditions that are making America ripe for dissolution or ripe for Californians to be upset are not getting better at all. Nothing's getting better. Nothing's getting fixed. Things are not working out more for California lifestyle. It's less. So Republicans are only going to get more in power. Things are not working out already. It's only going to get worse for Californians. And as it does, and as the next calamity thing happens, you'll have another call for CalExit. And then as another calamity, you'll have another call for CalExit. And so we say the trajectory for CalExit is like this. It just keeps going up. Because every single calamity, people immediately come rushing to CalExit, and they're not criticized by other Californians, and nobody says there's really a realistic opportunity. The speed at which 3 different newspapers endorsed secession when Roe v. Wade was overturned was faster at which newspapers endorsed secession when Donald Trump was elected. Trump was horrifying for Californians, and yet the idea of secession was radical and slow to take for them. And yet when Roe v. Wade happened, Californians jumped on the secession bandwagon in about 30 seconds. So that's where we are. We still believe it's 32% of Californians, 47.5 open, and we still believe about 150,000 people are actively listening and wait for the Yes California CALEXIT movement. And they will really only respond to real leaders who keep the California value lifestyle message intact. Nothing will change that. Even if our pages have been hacked, we're still here. The message is still here, and nobody's really buying what they're saying. And things are only getting worse in America. So I hope you found this fair. I hope you saw the original material we provided. We wanted to make sure that you knew that we are still in the game and things are still moving forward. Took a couple hits, but everything's basically still looking up for us. We'll see you soon. Oh, but first.